Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. This is supposed to be a conversation with Doc Blaylock, but he never showed up. This is twice in a week I've been stood up. So I try to have a regular schedule. I didn't want to give people used to the idea of me not showing up when I schedule. So I figure I'll talk live about comics that I've been reading. And I will also put an open invite if anybody wants to pop in and talk with me, because it's about talking about comic books. So I see Zach Tan is giving me the blessing, even though he's not here. He's in his car driving. Hope everything's all is well. So I'm just going to talk about, I'm going to do a live what you're reading, things like that. And hopefully other people will pop in. I will star this so anybody could come in and we could talk comics. Just turn on your camera and let's talk. No pressure, nothing, just fun comic books. Hail nerds and Doc. Well, Doc's not here. I sent him messages. Just gonna check my phone one more time just to see. Did he see my message? Okay, he didn't see it, so things happen. Hope he's okay. I don't take anything personal. It's just talking about comic books. All right, so just check my messages. So again, Doc didn't show up, and I figured I'd just talk about comic books. So let's do this and minimize my ugly mug and talk about mugs. My volunteering time when I was a teacher, I volunteered for a class, and all I got was this mug. Delicious Tim Hortons coffee. And I even wiped down this board because it's usually covered in disgusting, horrible, nasty, rotten coffee stains. So this is the fourth series or third series of Elektra. It says third series on it, but then it doesn't coincide with the actual numbers. Oh, this you don't need to see. This is a birthday card. Tomorrow's my birthday. So I got that from my wife's church. Ernest, anytime you can talk comics is a good time. Come on in, Ernest. Come on in. Click on this link and come on in and let's talk comics. Let's talk comics. I like talking with people about comics. So these are the comics that I've read since the last time I've done what you're reading. And as you'll see, my input of comic reading has decreased because I fulfilled my campaign, and then I had a couple of people over for game nights, and I just got myself out of the habit. And then 2 nights I was just cleaning up my basement because it was just filled with packing materials and boxes. And oh my God. Heads up, not this Friday, but the following Friday, I'm going to do another crowdfunding one-on-one with Edward, and we're going to talk about actual fulfillment and all the obstacles that I went through. Another thing I wanted to mention is today on the train going to work, I listened to Doc Horrible's sing-along blog for the first time in a long time. Man, I still love that. That gets me emotional. I think that is so good. That is my favorite thing Joss Whedon never did. And then on the way home, I watched it again. I forgot how much I enjoyed that. So anybody, is it problematic these days? I don't know. I know we're supposed to hate Joss Whedon, but to be honest, I always thought he was a creep. So when the creep allegations came out, male feminists are always creeps. So I was not surprised when the allegations come out. So again, I just keep checking my phone to see if Doc Blaylock is going to pop in or what. So this is, thank you. Happy birthday tomorrow. There's a little kid that lives next door. My next door neighbors are so sweet. Filipinos, and the little boy is 6 years old, and he comes running every time he sees me. He calls me Santa Claus. Hey Santa, hey buddy, hey Santa, hey buddy. He has a Toy Story toy. He's like, look at my toy, it's my birthday today. I was like, today's your birthday, happy birthday. And his little sister is 3 years old, and she comes running out, and she can't get a word in edgewise. This little boy is a firecracker, and she's got a toy, and she's holding it up, and she's trying to show me the toy too. And I was like, hey, guess what? Tomorrow's my birthday. And he just stopped. And he's like, really? And like, it was the first time I ever seen this kid not talking. And that gave his sister an edge. She goes, this is my stuffed animal. I think she said it was Mina. So I was like, oh, Mina's so cool. And she was holding it up. And then I said, why aren't you guys driving? I always say something stupid to kids. Why aren't you guys driving yet? And he goes, I will when I'm my mommy's age. I go, well, how old is your mom? And she's listening. And he stops and he goes, 60. So Mom got a little mad. Mom's like 33 or something like that, but it's just funny. All right, so anyway, this says the 3rd series, but when I look it up on my database, it says the 4th series. So it was 11 issues. I quit getting Marvel comics in 2015. So I started collecting this, and then I went cold turkey, and then because of my, redoing my database, I just can't end a series, especially when it was so close to the end. So I liked it better than I thought. I liked it better, It was 11 issues. Each issue was pretty good. I enjoyed it, and it's really weird. Whenever I finish reading a series and it's done, I always go, it's like I get a sense of completion. I don't know. Closure is the word. So this is Doc Frankenstein by the Wachowski brothers, or now they're sisters, or they're they-thems now. And the art is so good. I got it because of the Sprouse art. Chris Sprouse, I think his name is. I fell in love with his art on his Supreme run with Alan Moore. And this is the last issue. It's Frankenstein, it becomes like a action hero kind of thing. And it's typical. We hate Christianity. God is a bad guy. Would not recommend the story, but I absolutely love the art. And I'm sorry, I'm checking my phone. Every time I see a message, I'm wondering if it's Doc Blaylock. And there you go. So 6 issues, it's done. Do I recommend it? If you're, a freshman in college and you're edgy and you're, want to talk to your family and disprove religion, and, Chuck Dixon said it this week on Ask Chuck Dixon. He says, atheists, he goes, I don't call them atheists. I call them anti-Christians, because atheists never go after Jews. They never go after Hindus. They never go after Muslims. It's always anti-Christianity. He goes, so I'm an edgy. So there you go. Beautiful art, though. I did Perfect 10 for Sunday Comics. I can't talk about how much I love this series. Dave Brink gets superheroes. So I totally recommend this. Really good series. You could go to genuinecomics.com. I think this printing is the original printing. I think he's out of this, and Dave doesn't seem to like what he reprints. He puts different covers, stuff like that. I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm out of comics. I got stacks and stacks and stacks because I overprinted my comic Heroic Tales, which is still in demand on Fund My Comic. And as an aside, I was talking with Luke Stone. I'm going to overhaul my page with all my other offerings. Now that the campaign is over, that it's fulfilled, I'll sell the cards. I printed 7 cards. I gave away 4. So, I'll make sets. I'll sell individual cards, and that was all for the campaign. Now it's just a store, not just a store, but you know what I'm talking about. So I will update the Fund My Comic this weekend site. As I was saying, I don't know what I'm going to have to do when I reprint. Will I make another cover? I probably will. That seems to be the standard, right? Get a new cover. This is Geiger. I didn't read this yet, but I got 2 different covers. I got tricked because I was going through the the discount comic service when I order comics. So I got a cover and a variant cover. So I just put one away. I'm not going to open up both. So this is untouched by my hands. I like all the Ghost Machine comics. This, I was so excited to get this, but then I already read it. It's the first 6 issues of Real Science Adventure collected. I thought it was all new stuff. So, I already read this. I was like, oh man, this is a series I highly recommend. It's Atomic Robo. He's like the first artificial intelligence created by Nikola Tesla. And he goes out and he fights crime and does science exploration stuff. Where Hellboy is an occult investigator? Well, think of Atomic Robo as a science investigator. It's really good. It scratches that same itch that Hellboy does. He's a non-human who wants to be human. Therefore he's like the most human in his group, and he has an agency of highly skilled professionals surrounding him, and it goes over the course of like almost 100 years, because it starts out with like 1919 to current day. It's really good. I really like it. And this is the humans. So this isn't Atomic Robo. This is Atomic Robo's agents, operatives, whatever This was Captain America Annual #1. Again, when I'm going through my database, I'm filling in holes of comics. So this, I read this. It was a retelling of the origin of Captain America, and then a bunch of reprints from Tales of Suspense. But I'm glad I have it, because I can't have 22 annuals and then not have #1. This is Beware, where monsters dwell. This is a Marvel comic reprint of Silver and Golden Age monster comics. It was actually pretty good. This is the kind of stuff I didn't touch as a child. I couldn't stand this kind of stuff. I wanted superheroes. I learned the term cape shit. Forgive my language, but I have a couple of people who are like, man, I like you. Your comic looks really good, but I don't like cape shit. And what are you gonna do? If somebody doesn't like something, they don't like something. Everybody's different. But I'm the opposite. Like for me, it's like it's got to be superheroes. Comic books to me are just superheroes. But I've since grown out of that. I just showed the Atomic Robo, but that's this close to being a superhero comic. But horror comics, literally within the past 2 years, I started getting into horror comics. Sword and Sorcery within the past 4 years. And then I went through a detective phase, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And then I went through a Jungle Girl phase, and giant size Fantastic Four. I noticed that I was missing these. I had the first 5. This is not in the best condition. And I'm annoyed because this is just a reprint of Fantastic Four Annual 6, so it's nothing new, but completionist me had to get it. So there you go. Oh, wow. Yeah. So I noticed that I never got the Question Annual 2. This is Denny O'Neil, Bill Ray, Shay Pate, and guess who? This is awful. This is just so bad. To now I'm wondering, do we all look at this series through rose-colored glasses? Because this is just awful. The Question is a horrible hero. He's nothing like the Steve Ditko character. They kind of retell his origin, and he's selfish. He's a jerk, and then he has his epiphany or whatever. But even when he's the hero, he's like cynical and mean, and he doesn't like people. That's not what I want for my heroes. The Question, Steve Ditko's Question, and Mr. A and stuff, he never was cynical and mean. He was curious and suspicious, but not cynical and mean. And Denny O'Neil famously said that he couldn't understand the conservative mindset, so he kind of changed the Question. But I just wonder, like, I don't want to reread the series, but is it as good as people talk about? I don't know. What anybody got any? We got a bunch of people watching. Any thoughts on this? So here we got Captain Savage and his Battlefield Rangers. Again, War Comics was another thing I didn't touch. This is 19-issue series, so I picked this up. These are still pretty cheap. Every time I put in an order, I put in another Captain Savage. So I read it like roughly 1 issue a month. I try to limit myself to like buying back issues once a month. Like when I get my new comics, I'll put in an order for back issues. You know what I mean? I kind of keep myself, otherwise I'll spend too much money. I just keep checking my phone every time I hear a buzz just to see how Doc Blaylock is doing. Again, anybody want to pop in and talk with me? Open invite. Again, I won't bite. I like talking to people. But this was good. I like this. This is a crossover. I think Captain Savage was starting to suffer. Now, let me bring this up a little bit. Maybe this will be better. Because you could tell it was starting to suffer because they changed it. It was originally called Captain Savage and his Leatherneck Raiders, and then it's Captain Savage and his Battlefield Raiders, and then next issue I think it just becomes Captain Savage. And Captain Savage, he had the big beard and everything like that, and now he's almost indistinguishable from Nick Fury. Captain Savage, they're Marines. I think Captain Savage is a Navy captain in charge of Marines, and then they team up with Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos, the Army guys. And Nick Fury and his the Marines are storming a castle because there's a guy who has nuclear secrets, and Nick Fury are securing the perimeter. And then they're going to go to, it's a 2-part story. It's a crossover event. They're just trying to drum up sales. I don't think it worked because only 8 more issues came out. My biggest problem with this is they're fist fighting the Nazis, you know what I mean? Like, or the Japanese. Here they are. They're in World War II. They got machine guns and stuff like that. And then they jump down and they just start fist fighting. It's just so. I know it's Marvel Comics and they're trying to tone down war and everything like that. But don't make a war comic if you're squeamish about gunfights. You know what I mean? It's there you go. We got Old Dirty Fatty. What does Old Dirty Fatty have to say? But critiques are usually spot on. So if you say the series was awful, I believe. Well, thank you for the compliment. I firmly believe and take everything in the spirit that it was offered. But I'm just curious if anybody read it. If anybody did it, has anybody read the Question series? I remember not really liking it at the time, but I was just comics were pretty cheap, $1.75, big deal, big deal. Even back then, it wasn't really that much money. So, if I got $33 worth of comic books a month or $31 worth of comic books a month, it really didn't matter. So I just turned to get a lot of stuff, whether I liked it or not. So I'm just curious, did anybody else read Denny O'Neill's Question? This came today. Dime Store Detective by John Dexter. Lucia. I'm gonna for an Italian, I can't read Italian names. Ciccitti and Lucas Oruta. And John Dexter's been on my channel a few times. So I'm glad I got these. I just got them today, so obviously I didn't read them yet. But like I said, I went through a phase of detective comics. So this is detective solving, like, as far as I remember, like occult crimes, like, sacrificial crimes. So I can't wait to read these. These look fun. I couldn't do an unboxing. I just opened it up and took these out. This is all I came. But they're on top of the pile. This is one of the things I'm trying to do is all these crowdfunded and indie comics. I put them on top of my pile and tried to read them. The problem is, I'll give a little. Here's my pile of stuff to read. I moved it because over here I put all my Gemini boxes and stuff like that for fulfillment. So I moved it. I put it someplace else, and then I moved it back. So it's all out of whack. So I really got to go through and reorganize this stack to get all the crowdfunded on top. So that's really all I had to say. Ernest, what are you agreeing with? Are you agreeing with Cap Savage, or are you agreeing with what I was saying about the Question, or are you just agreeing to be agreeable? You're a very agreeable guy. Hiya, chat, says Grey Wolf. How you doing, Grey Wolf? And again, anybody want to pop in? Here's the link. Doc Blaylock didn't show. Mike Barron didn't show, but Mike Barron messaged me the next day. He was very apologetic. Mike Barron is a early to bed, early to rise guy. So he just said he fell asleep. He felt really bad. And if you watched Mike Barron on a comic book team up, started at 9:30 on the dot. He was like, I'm done. He's got to go to sleep. So there you go. So what's going on in John's Long Box? All my comics are out. One person messaged me today. They said it was their second message to me. They didn't get the digital file, and I felt so bad. I sent it to him, and I guess it went to a spam filter, and then I sent it through him. I replied to his message, which was from like, but I didn't realize that you don't get the message unless I log in. So I apologize to him. If you're that guy who didn't get your file, I sent it to you through Fund My Comic, and if you send me your address, I'll mail you a coin. Because I messed up. I don't want anybody not satisfied. Oh, Justin Belmont, who's doing Pencils Down, and he also does Chrome Dog. I think he's live right now, and he just did an unboxing of my comic, so that was a lot of fun. That was cool to see. What what other news? Oh, so tomorrow, I might as well tell you what's going on tomorrow. I'm just, so tomorrow's Friday. First off, tomorrow's my birthday. Mike Barron will be on at 7:00. So Mike Barron, we're going to talk about his Sherlock Holmes Captain Nemo comic. That's his pushing concern right now. And then at 8:30, I'm gonna do It's Clobbering Time. We're gonna talk about Plastic Man versus Mr. Fantastic. That should be a lot of fun. As always, that's an open invite show. Anybody could come in and pick your champion and we'll talk. It's supposed to be the comic book store kids arguing over their favorite characters. What other comic book news? Oh, I was talking with Renzo about another project. So Renzo is Heroic Tales 2 is about 40% done. The Mary Sue story is done. Renzo is starting the Patriarch story. As far as I know, he's drawing it right now. So I asked him about and then I gotta get Oscar the script to Eddie is Doomed. I've been rewriting it and revisiting it and stuff like that. So he's just sitting there with pencils in his hand, waiting to start drawing him a tonic bowl. So I got to get that to them. And then I got really excited about a third comic that I'm going to be working on. Historical fiction with mythology. I'll leave it at that. And I asked Renzo, would he be interested in it? Could he do it? And I put in some particular demands, and he was like, sounds great. So I told him that will be his back burner project. Like whenever he gets slow, just work on that, things like that, because I really don't want to start floating 3 campaigns at once. So Heroic Tales 2 will probably launch in January. Eddie is Doomed a couple of months after that, because I don't want to be accused of, you have so many open campaigns. You know what I mean? I like to think that I got a little bit of street cred for keeping to my word of Heroic Tales #1. I think I delivered, biased, obviously. I think I delivered one of the best comics of the year in crowdfunding. And that's what's going on. Oh, Sunday, I'm going to be doing, and Friday, I'm going to be on Master Swag's channel. He's just having like a crazy open invite because it's his birthday. So Master Swag and myself have the same birthday. That's why we look exactly the same. And then Sunday Comics. I don't know what I'm going to do for Sunday Comics. Does anybody have an idea for Sunday Comics yet? The only criteria is I have to have it already. And, preferably read it already. I mean, if you pick something that I have right over here, I can read it. But there you go. So that's everything that's going on my channel. Next week, I have Travis on the 11th, and that's it. Oh, and then I have a Project Now Assist for Comic Book Team Up at 8:30. Praetor says, I got the first omnibus of The Question and have enjoyed it so far, but I've never read the original either, so I have nothing to compare it to. Okay. What issue are you up to? I thought it had one of the worst endings in all of comics. It really soured me for the character of The Question. It wasn't until Rick Veitch did a 5-issue series of The Question that brought him back to Ditko's roots that really got me interested in The Question, to the point I have an homage character that I would like to introduce into my comic at some point. Happy birthday, dog. Thank you. Did I get Axa yet? It's funny that you should say that. I was literally, I just knocked my camera down. It's a good thing I'm wearing pants. I'm literally reading this right now. I was reading this. This is the original Axa. Now, what's going on? Could you explain to me what's going on with Axe? Are they bringing it back? Is it a reprint? Is it new material? I don't know what's going on. But I got this because of your recommendation. This is the original. What year is this? Axe, 1987. And I'm really liking it. So what's the story? Is there a new edition? What's going on? Any Starlin comic would be good. That's good. I'm kind of... I hope Kelsey Shannon got my package. I wrote a big note and stuff that he got a pint glass. I put a pint glass with my phone number and everything like that to Kelsey Shannon, because I'd really like to come back and do that 2 beards, 1 comic, you know. And it's funny, Kelsey, as far as he knows, he never saw me without the beard. I don't even think he knew I was in a car accident. I'm only a third of halfway through the first volume of the omnibus. Okay, keep me posted. I you know, I don't know. Again, I'm basing it on reading this. I like the art. Dennis Cowan's art I really like, but this was awful. And like, was the Question just such a miserable, cynical, hating human kind of guy, or was this just weird for that story? Okay, not sure if it's coming back. I thought it would be good for Sunday Comics. Oh, okay, but didn't they just do a crowdfunding thing? So John, did you ever read The Eternaut? I never heard of it. I know I don't have it. What is it? Tell me more about The Eternaut. So you know, this might be Sunday Comics. I'm really enjoying this, and it kind of fits the criteria of like an older forgotten comic. Tell me more about it. It's got a kind of cool title. It's got a kind of cool title. So now I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to talk about. I'm checking my phone one more time to see if Doc Blaylock has messaged me. Nope. Let me know if delve into the, okay. Oh, okay. Suggestions for Sunday Comics. All right. So no message from. I'm gonna have to retitle this, you know. So I'm sorry if you got the bait and switch. I started out the beginning. If people missed, I started talking about. Today I rewatched Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog. It's the first time I watched it in years, and man, I still like it. It's my favorite. It's my favorite Josh Whedon thing. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Did you guys watch it? You know, I know he's problematic, but like I said, from day one, he gave me the creeps. I always thought he was a creep, so it never shocked me when everything. I was kind of like, oh, okay, trust your instincts. So, you know. Veitch seems like a guy who really loves the comics, opposed to those who use comics to tell their stories. Yeah, right. I follow Veitch on Facebook. Little secret here: if you want to see what the old timers have to say, go to Facebook and follow a bunch of comic book creators. They're all there. They're all on Facebook. That's how I get so many people. I go on Facebook. There you go. You know my secret now. And I messaged Veitch a few times. He never responded. It's science fiction Argentine comic from 50s about an alien invasion. Could you DM me like something about it? Could you? Because I won't remember the chat. And then you know, when I go back, I don't remember which video the chat was in, and I'm not going to scroll through all the chats. So if you could DM me this information about the survivors of the invasion, it sounds cool. To tell you the truth, though, I'm kind of a, you know, apocalyptic storytelling. I've been there, done that kind of thing. With the exception, well, this I'm liking. You know, it's not too realistic, and it's Road Warrior. You know, saving the school bus full of kids. It's Road Warrior with a hot chick and a bikini, so you can't go wrong with that. But if it turned out as like a different type of apocalyptic storytelling, you know, Walk After the Walking Dead and Cyber Frog, and you know, all these post-apocalyptic. I don't think post-apocalyptic and superheroes mix too well, because that just means the superheroes failed. You know, it's always a post. I don't know. I maybe I'm talking through my ass right now, but whatever. But an Argentine comic about the 50s about an alien invasion in Buenos. That does sound interesting. So yeah, so message me about that. That sounds pretty cool. So I could babble for another 30 minutes. So unless somebody's going to come in or the chat starts moving, I'll call it a day. Anybody? I'll reach out to Doc Blaylock, see what he has to say. You know, hope. I don't want my mind to go to the worst, but I'm human, so I start worrying. You know, and on the good news, I got my monthly checkup, you know, because of my neck and everything like that. Everything's cleared. My weight's down. My blood pressure's fine. What else? What else? My cholesterol is good. I always laughed at the doctors. Always like, your cholesterol is good. Like, I look like I should have bad cholesterol. And on the way home, I went to a Mexican place. I left work early today. I went to a Mexican place, and that I had went to before. It changed its name, and I really liked it. But I noticed that there's a Chinese place next to it called Lily's Chinese, and I've been complaining that I can't get good Chinese food over here. You know, here being out in Suffolk County, Long Island. I lived in Flushing, where if you threw a rock, it hit a Chinese place, and my favorite Chinese place closed down and had these soup dumplings. And when I went out to dinner with Vaughn Coleman, we were in Manhattan, and we found a good place that had soup dumplings just as good as my old favorite place, Joe Shanghai's. But I'm not going to go to Manhattan just when I get soup dumplings. So I was like, let me try this place. So I changed. I actually have to, like, okay, I was going to get Mexican. Now I got to get Chinese. Like, I had to prepare myself, and I went in, and I knew it was going to be good when I was the only white guy in the place. The waiter, the male waiter, had to leave and get another person because they didn't speak any English. And I was like, this food is going to be awesome. So I'm sitting there, the only white guy. They got the one waitress who could communicate in English. Hey, Vaughn, this is an open stream if you want to pop in. You know, my guest didn't show up, so I'm just kind of talking. Even when your guests don't show, you still, oh, thank you so much. I just like to talk. I could talk anybody's ear off. So I sat down and I ordered food, and oh my God, the soup dumplings were so good. He tells me, he goes, the waitress goes, they take 20 minutes. Is that okay? I'm like, yeah, sure. Well, you know, I'll order other food. So I ordered danbori noodles. I've never heard of them before, and it's noodles in like a spicy chili sauce. It was so freaking good. I ordered regular I ordered a lot of food because I just wanted to sample everything. And then I ordered this crispy diced chicken with red peppers. Everything was spicy. And she asked me, are you okay with spice? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine with spice. But man, it was really spicy. So, but it was so good. It was so good. I was so excited to tell my wife. So I came home, and I was like, I finally found a good Chinese place. But it's not like your average American Chinese place. It's a little bit, it's more like the places in Flushing that serve other Chinese. So like you're not going to get like the chicken and broccoli and stuff like that. So, oh man. And first thing I did was I messaged my niece, because my niece used to come and visit from Southern Jersey, and we would go into it. You know, I was living in Flushing, and we would go to my favorite Chinese place and get soup dumplings. So there you go. There's my adventure today. So I went to the doctor, found out that I lost weight, found out that my blood pressure is good, found out that, I have like a B12 deficiency. And when my B12 gets really, really low, I get clumsy and I drop things at work, and I get really nervous because, when you're working with electricity, you can't drop your screwdriver, cross the lines and things blow up, and you get so, I'm always monitoring that, taking extra B12. So Vaughn, where are you? I haven't got my Dime Store Detective yet, but I'm looking forward to reading. I got the catch up to you. Yeah, me too. I got all 4 issues. I just backed Jupiter last night. That comic, oh my God, did that comic look right up my alleyway. And like I said to Jason last night, I get a little embarrassed when when I don't back stuff that looks so good, like sometimes I think I back stuff and I didn't, or sometimes I back things twice. Like I get it on Fund My Comic, and then I see that, oh, it's on Indiegogo. Oh, I never got it. So I need to do that. Whenever I back stuff, I gotta like open up 2 tabs and cross check. So, anybody else? Anybody want to say anything? Vaughn said he was going to pop in, but he's not here. I can remove this. Ooh, I get big. I got my, it's not Hitler. Somebody thought this was Hitler. It's H.P. Lovecraft in a brain canister by the Migo. If you read Lovecraft, you get it. So I'll take a sip of coffee. Let's all have a sip of coffee together. Hey, El. How you doing? Anybody want to pop in? Anybody want to pop in? It could be overwhelming with so many campaigns. Yes. I told myself I was going to slow down. Not because I dislike anything, but just for money reasons. You know, I've been out of work for 4 months. But there's just been so much good stuff. So much good stuff. So I will, now that all the packages are out, just about everybody got, if you ordered Heroic Tales, you got it. You asked for it, you got it. Heroic Tales. I just got this returned to sender today. I got to check to see what the problem is, but I can't complain. Only one out of almost 400 packages. You know, I didn't check to see why there's a problem, so that came back. We'll see what's going on, and I'm thinking maybe next week, maybe next Friday, next Saturday, I'll have a let's toast the patriarchy, and I'll put out an open invite. We'll all take out our Heroic Tales pint glass and we'll all drink a beer together, toast the patriarchy. The reviews of the comic have been very positive. What did you guys think? I got a bunch of people watching. Did you guys read the comic yet? What did you think? Any criticisms? I got a few criticisms that were very thoughtful and very helpful. So far, nothing has been mean. Nothing has been like, you know, I was a little nervous that people are just going to be like, they don't like me, so they're not going to like the comic. But so far, the only criticisms I kind of agree with. So I, you know, there's something I want to, like, Vaughn picked out a couple of typos, which I noticed after they were already printed. I'm so embarrassed. So I might ask Vaughn to copy. What's the copy edit? You know, just edit my book. You know, for looking for typos. Maybe I'll ask Ali Sangili. She seems like real anal retentive, which is exactly what I need. But I'm surprised. A lot of people have been telling me they like the backup story more than the front up story. So that's really cool. Lucius Kane, the wearer of the suit, he will be in issue 2, and he's going to be like an omnipresent villain. You know, I don't want to spoil it if people have not read it. A tyranny of options. Yes. Where does a person get those mailers for the books? I have a bunch of trades I'm wanting to sell, but I don't know how to package them. I went to Amazon and just ordered 100. I also was using like the ones that other people sent me. Like Vaughn Coleman sent me his comic, and I reused the Gemini mailer.
Did you?
Yeah. I just got this today.
Been doing that.
This was the Dime Store Detective mailer. I just put them on a stack. I literally used like 120 Gemini mailers from other people, and I was trying to like Brian Bow. I backed his campaign, so I was trying to send him back his Gemini mailer. You know,
That's
just
smart.
put a new sticker over it. You know, but I bought a whole bunch of supplies. Vaughn will tell you he just finished. Right, you're finished sending out your stuff too.
Yeah, but now I have my website going, so I've already got like 6 sales.
Oh, good for you, man.
So the
did you do it yourself?
Stops.
Well, you know what?
Oh no, next book I might.
No, I'm not. I can get this out of my face. Did you create your store website yourself, or did you hire somebody?
Well, I had someone both. I had someone help me create it. So no one else created it entirely for me, but you know, definitely like without my friend, like would have been very lost. So he certainly helped. Hold on. Am I still there? Someone talking or? All right, I can't hear you. I don't know if it's on my end. Let me check.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, there we go. All right. I've been gaslit.
I'm sorry. I hit the button by accident when I was moving my hand across something. Sorry. So I'd like to make a store too, but I'm computer illiterate.
So it does cost money.
Yeah.
To host it.
How much does it cost them? Oh, you don't have to. want to.
Yeah, it's pricey. There's a reason people don't do it, which I learned. But I was like, I already told people I'm making it. I make it, and it also is so much. I will say it is easier just to have a personalized link, even though Facebook did ban and Instagram did ban my link, because of the cartoon gun. But you know, it is easier just to have it out there because most normal people want a simple process. They don't want to deal with the whole going through tiers, whatever.
Absolutely. That's the guys I work with were all confused. A lot of guys just handed me $10 and said, I'm not dealing with the website. So I came to work with a box of comics. I wrote down everybody's names. So my sales, I probably have like another $300 in sales that aren't on the website because it was, and a lot of the guys are like, I ain't paying for shipping. You stand it right here. You put it right in my hand,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What Geeks Do Network? Yeah. Vaughn pointed out that mistake right away. And unfortunately, I noticed that mistake when I got the comic in my hand. It was too late. I wasn't going to pulp all the copies that I just printed. And you're welcome, Praetor. Don't get me wrong. The front story was good, although it was a bit of a slice. It's a good setup, but it did not have as much arc as the second story. Yeah, I'm surprised. I was worried that people weren't going to like the second story. So I'm glad you liked it. And Phenomenova.
Yeah.
I like Phenomenova, man. Good job. Your printing was spot on.
Well, I got, Graham Nolan gave me his printer, so I got to give hats off to him.
Well, Graham Nolan told me how to get these challenge coins made. So
yeah, Graham's good people.
He's just a good guy, Not only is he the gold standard as far as crowdfunding, like he produces a lot, he produces quality, and he's helpful. Yeah, he's helpful, And when was the last time you heard any Graham Nolan controversies and drama? The guy's just a consummate professional. What I liked is when I met him at the cigar party. He's like, "Hey, John from John's Long Box." He knew who I was. He came over and he shook my hand. And guy's 10 years older than me, and I would not fight him. I would not fight that guy.
Yeah, no, he's.
Hey, Master Swag. Hello, two white.
How you doing? Yeah. So no, I'm glad you like Phenomenova. I'm asking everyone for feedback because I'm basically have the trailer for issue 2 done.
Oh wow.
I want to add just 2 quotes. I have one from Mike Barron. I'm figuring out my second, but I just want to
say happy birthday, Master Swag. We share the same birthday, which is tomorrow.
Oh yeah, happy early birthday, man.
Yeah. So Doc Blaylock was supposed to be on tonight. And he didn't show up.
Yeah,
so.
I noticed a distinct lack of Doc Blaylock.
Yeah. Oh, you could be Doc Blaylock. Get yourself a cup of black coffee, a cigarette, and a raspy voice. And
see, I don't have I just have I have put milk in. I haven't read my Phenomenal, but it looks great and extras are dope. Yeah, don't expect as many extras for as low of a goal next time. But I was happy to. And the thing is, that first impression for backers is great. You are going to get, my current plan is to do so there's going to be a day 1 trading card, and then there's just a trading card that's inherent to backers. So if you back day 1, 2 trading cards. Okay. And then I have more stretch goals planned. The more it makes, the faster issue 3 is done. We're doing, because what I do is I have the cover for the next issue. I'm going to have it in the back of each issue. So I have like a bunch of first appearances in issue 3. And so I paid for all those designs, even though that works towards issue 3. I included it in my issue 2 budget, as well as the issue 3 cover as part of my issue 2 budget. So we're thumbnailing that out. And it's been fun, man. It's work, but it's fun.
Yeah, I think I'm going to streamline my process a little bit better this time around. I hope I won't get into any car accidents this time around or require any hernia surgeries this time. It was just like the universe was telling me not to make a comic,
and you kept going, and you put your book out in a timely manner. I just went, Master Swag. Did you get your comic yet? Did you get your comic in the mail? Because it's been mailed. And then Vaughn, I was talking earlier about soup dumplings. Remember we got right when we went out. You got soup dumplings for the first time. Yes.
I just found a place by me that is just as good. And
really?
Because it's
not. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. So next time you come out here to Long Island.
Sounds good. Also, MSK, I want to say, I appreciate that. I want people to be honest about reviews.
Right,
Like I ask
right.
people
I
for
don't want
honest.
you to blow smoke. That doesn't help.
Yeah, it doesn't help. Yeah, so I want you to be honest. I know Professor Savage Dad likes it. MSK has not said anything, but
Yeah, I think Savage Dad said he liked my comic too. And
so I know
have,
at
have you
least we'll get a 50% rating on that show.
oh,
So I know one of us likes it. I've
look,
gotten
have you
maybe
gotten any weird criticism yet? Or like mean criticism, like
uh
people that don't like us, and you know what I mean. But I gotta say,
no.
all the criticism that I've got was helpful, constructive, and well thought out.
Yeah. I haven't gotten anything. Most of the criticism I've got is I want to see more of this,
Well, that's not.
which
Okay.
I think is great. Like I want to see
That's not
more
a
of
criticism.
this. I actually don't think that's really much of a criticism. I guess I got like some people thought there should be more variety in the camera angles from my artist. Most of the criticism hasn't been so much as criticism as I want to see. I wish there was more of this, which is the best thing people could tell
That's
me.
not criticism. That's if somebody says to me, I don't want to see more of this, you know what I mean. That means I failed. That's a good thing. I want to see
Yeah.
more. I had a weird criticism just yesterday that I don't want to bring up because it was just so out of left field. I just wonder, but like, it was like, did you read the comic? But other than, I just think it was. I tend to think it was a joke. But most of the criticism, like you showed, there was a couple of typos and maybe some like grammatical. But I can't complain. None of the criticism was like anything I disagree with. It was like, oh, cool. I understand, and they were helpful, they were nice, and they were pleasant about it. So what else do you want? Did you have this? I just got Dime Store Detective today.
No, I haven't yet, but he does my fulfillment.
Oh, okay. Oh, you didn't fulfill. So you used the service. Would you use the service again, or are you planning on doing it?
Yeah, I do. I would. It definitely was easier than. But also, I'll have to see money wise. I might need to save, but for now, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Right. I said I was going to use RJ from Critical Blast, and then I feel bad that I didn't because in my mind I was going to hit 10,000, and when I didn't hit 10,000, I really had to save as many pennies as I possibly could.
Yeah, I definitely lost some money because of that. So I might consider doing it. Has anyone complained about the taste of the comic? Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, my comic is absolutely delicious. I used high quality flavored inks. The snozberries taste like snozberries. Has anyone complained about the taste of the comic? No. Well, my comic was in bad taste, if that's what you're talking about. Cheers, gentlemen. Good to see both of you on the same stream. A great meeting in New York. Oh, yeah, Chris. Chris is another one. He came with us to dinner at the place where Vaughn ate more food than me, which is funny because he weighs as much as my pinky.
What's going on, Chris? How you doing?
Usually number ones are good to find. It's the 2s, 3s. Yes, I agree with you. Although I find, Vaughn, what do you think? Do you think issue 2 is going to be easier to write now that you've got like the obligatory origin out of the way?
I wrote 2 was easier, but it was 2 is a deceptively simple issue for me because it's not 3. I actually think was a harder. 3 is like more balls to the walls action. So 2 is almost scarier because it's without spoilers. There's more dialogue in issue 2, but there's also it's simpler issue in a lot of ways. In some ways, but it's also it's different from issue 1, I will say, but it's a lot more heartfelt. And one of my concerns is but I knew this from the beginning. You're going to get more of some of the things people ask for and less of some of the others, but have faith in the storyline. So you're not going to see it all at once.
You got so much real estate.
And the next one is 24 pages because I want to start pumping them out faster. It's also, the way my budget works. So 24. And then I think issue 3 is going to be close to 40 pages. And then we're going to go back to doing 24 if we can. Awesome. Let me know what you think, MSK. And Zach, that's good. Yeah, that cover, that third cover for issue 2 is I'm very happy with. Very, very happy with it.
Yeah. I had a question to ask you, but now I can't remember. Got any Legends of the Dark Knight? Yeah, I got the whole series. Any particular issues? Sunday Comics, I don't know if you know Vaughn. I take out an old comic and spend an hour going over it on Sundays, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's one of my favorite things that I do. So I always ask people what they want to talk about. And I try not to do anything new because I don't want to give, like, I wouldn't do Phenomenova because then I would give away the entire comic, and that's not right.
Right. I had I don't know if I want to get too in depth with it, but it was a mixed bag because I had someone give me a 10 out of 10 on the book and I was very happy. But the review literally showed the entire book for free.
Yeah, my policy on the show is the comic's got to be 5 years old. Like you saw me, I talked about
because it was like I was very nice about it. I was like, hey man, I really like, I thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Any chance you could take it down and just edit the visuals a little bit? And he just like he got very upset with me. And I just said, I just was like, listen, man, it just got in the hands of backers. I don't want to,
right.
You know, it's not for it to be free for everyone immediately after everyone just paid for it. I don't.
Yeah, that's not right. That's why I have a 5-year policy, you know, and that's why I only show 4 pages of your comic.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with people showing pages, or even if you want to break down the whole story, that's fine. But like,
nah, I wouldn't do that. But you know, like it's got to be a couple of years old for me. You know, in the history of indie comics, the standard for legitimately seemed to be if it ran less than 4 issues. I don't quite get in the history of indie.
Like he's saying, basically, if it lasts more than 4 issues, it's good.
Oh, okay, thank you, old man brain. Are the 90s old enough? Yes. I'd like to see Max by saying, oh, that's a good choice. Oh, man, the problem with the Max is I must have reread that series 4 times, and I'm still not 100% sure of everything that happened. You know, that's a comic that demands your attention, and it demands that you pay attention to it. I got it as it came out, and you can't remember. So then I reread it all in one sitting. Yeah. Is Perfect 10 5 years old?
Perfect 10 is so good.
Perfect 10 is no, that was an exception. And I asked Dave Brink because I really want other people to
other fans of it.
I really want Dave Brink to I want Dave Brink to be running Marvel Comics. Well, you know what? Screw that. I want Genuine Comics to be as big as Marvel Comics.
Yeah. Genuine Comics is they're one of the top dogs, Genuine Comics.
Yeah. And what does he have? Like he's got at least 20 comics out, you know, so you know.
Yeah, I got to buy more of his.
Yeah, I got everything that I can. There's a couple issues that he sold out on that I'm trying to get. If anybody has a copy of Earthling #1, that's I think the only Genuine comic that I'm missing.
Shadowpunk, no, I get what you're saying, but I just mean I get what you're saying totally, but I just mean like, it was only a week after. It wasn't even in all backers' hands yet, and it was like literally the entire comic. Like you could pause the video and just read the entire comic.
Right. Personally, I don't think seeing it online remotely compares to holding it.
I do agree. Holding it in person is better.
Physical comic in your hand. But yeah, I agree with Vaughn. And that's obvious. I don't do that. I don't show.
And I love this guy to death, by the way. Like at the record show, he gave me a 10 out of 10. Great. I just also wanted to be respectful of my backers, you know?
Right. Yeah. That's a hard one. You don't want to cause, you know, the guys raving about your comic and then you're like.
So I just was very nice about it, you know, but apparently it wasn't.
Oh, if you have a comic that really shows Batman being a detective, that would be a good one for Sunday Comics. Yeah, Vaughn, what do you think? Yeah, Vaughn is like an old soul when it comes to comics.
Yeah, I haven't read enough. I haven't been reading much lately. I got to confess, I've been a bad fan lately. I've been
Yes, I'm sorry to hear you had a death in your family. Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about that. I was saying I was bad with my reading comics, but yeah, but that too. Yeah, no, I just haven't been reading comics much lately, and I'm so close to the end of Claremont's run. I hunker down and focus.
I knock it out. I got myself out of the habit. I try to read at least 5 comics a day.
5, wow. Yeah, I tried to get 1, and I haven't been reading it. And like
once I started fulfilling, I didn't read any comic for 2 weeks because I was just Eddie's free time was fulfilling to the point when I was done fulfilling. I was like, what do I do with my free time now? Like, you know, I was like. I don't know what to do with free time now. I just been like in that zone. So now I'm trying to read comics again, you know, get back into it because I got this mountain right over here. So let me ask you, when it comes to Batman, I've been saying that there's 4 Batmans. what do you think about this, Warren? I trust your opinion.
Yeah.
There's Golden Age Batman, the Silver
Mhm.
Age Batman, then there's the Detective Batman, which is like roughly Neil Adams, Denny O'Neil, Chuck Dixon.
Isn't
And
that
then-
silver? Well, hang on. So, but didn't
Yeah, they overlap a little bit. It's not perfect,
Okay.
because the Neil Adams Batman came out during the Silver Age, but the Brave and Bold was completely different.
Okay, so you're talking like that period. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
And then there's the Grant Morrison Bat God, which is like the era that we're in now. Batman has contingency plans for everything, could beat every. He's
I
got.
could see it.
So what is your favorite Batman?
That's a good analysis. Actually, I will say that's a very good. Four different.
I make no bones about it. The Detective Batman's my favorite for two reasons.
That's mine too. But I used to be one of those people that was in denial, saying Batman could beat everyone in a fight. Batman could beat everyone, and it wasn't until I started coming up with my own Batman stories and revisiting the ones I liked that I was like, well, like I still think the contingency plan stuff works, but I think there's got to be. I still think there's overlap between the two.
Yep.
Between Detective and the God one, quote unquote.
Yeah, I keep talking about there was an issue in I think it was a Jim Aparo comic or Brett Norm Breckfogel. I always mispronounce his name, but Batman gets beaten up by a private detective, Joe Potato, and Batman crawls back into the and I just like that. And I think the next issue, Batman jumps to fight save a mugger, and he's getting beat. So he's using tactics to keep the people away from him until the mugger could, the victim could get away. Nowadays Batman just jumps in, beats everybody, while delivering a monologue. You know what I mean? I like this human version of Batman better. So there you go. What Geeks Do Network. I love it. I have a Max tattoo complete with Julie Winters and Mr. Gone. I'm not going to spoil it, but Mr. Gone is a scary, terrifying villain. Have you ever read the Max?
No.
Yeah. That's a good point. Gold, Silver Age, Dark, then Modern. Yeah. Dark Age could be the Detective Batman. I'd lend the giant-sized DC Christmas edition has the Adams Batman. That's a good one. I always like that Hulk threw a car at Batman and Batman jumps through the windows. My favorite Batman is anything Machiavelli draws. Yeah. Unfortunately, he didn't draw a lot. I remember you were talking about that.
He did what? Batman Year One, and is that it?
I want to say he did more, but
let me look it up.
But Steranko and Machiavelli are like legends with such small outputs. I agree. I agree. Frank Miller and Machiavelli's Batman. I think Batman Year One is my favorite Batman story. What are your feelings on The Dark Knight Returns?
I love it.
Oh, you do?
No, you don't like it?
No.
Why?
It's too dark and cynical. I didn't like Superman was a stooge of the government. Superman would never just be the bad guy. It was like disrespectful to Superman, and I didn't particularly like the art style. I don't know. I know it came out at the same time as the Watchmen, but the Watchmen were his own characters. You could do that to them. Do whatever you want. They're your toys. But I don't like. I don't know. Even at that point, I was like, I don't want dark, cynical Superman.
See, I get it, and that's why when they used to announce they were pulling from it for Batman v Superman, one, it told me that Zack Snyder doesn't care about comics because he reads the two basic bitch comics that everyone reads and goes, "I'm a comic fan," and it's like, fuck off.
I cannot argue with that one bit.
I've argued with Snyder fans. He's like, "Oh, he's a comic fan because he read Batman v Superman." I'm like, all right, so fine. So if someone watches Star Wars or The Godfather, that makes them like a huge fan of cinema,
right?
No. It just means you looked up the top ones and just picked a couple of the top options.
I watched the Hobbit movie, and therefore I'm a Tolkien fan.
Yeah, it's like, no, you're not, dude.
So you're a comic book fan? Let's talk the intricacies of Aquarian. Wondar the Aquarian. let's talk.
I don't know that, but yeah, I mean, I don't know that one, but I'd be honest about it. He read the most basic bitch comics, and then he goes, "Yeah, see." It's like, all right, let's see him go through more. He's not a comic book fan.
Well, my thing is, okay, so you're a comic book fan, Mr. Snyder. How come you fundamentally misunderstood Superman?
It's his own. He notice he talks out of both sides of his mouth too. It's his own interpretation, but also it's accurate. But also it doesn't matter if it's accurate. But also it is accurate. It's never consistent. It's never consistent.
Come on in, Coop. The water's fine. Doc Blaylock didn't show up, so I just threw out an open link to anybody. Dark Knight Returns has too much dialogue. I don't remember because I literally only read it when it came out, and I didn't like it. I got it. The only thing worse than Dark Knight Returns is the sequel. Ooh.
I never read it.
If only you got about a battle between Batman and David Xanatos from Gargoyles. I really liked the Gargoyles show from the 90s. There was nothing else like it at the time. That is a perfect. Did you watch that cartoon? The 90s Gargoyles?
No.
No,
I have to because I love Greg Weisman's writing. He's one of my biggest writing influences with how he did Spectacular Spider-Man.
Oh, really? Oh,
and
yeah. But
Young Justice.
He did a children's cartoon that didn't pander to children.
Yeah,
it can be done. It can be done. It had action. It had romance. It had like a couple of saucy scenes, and it had like a little bit of like proto woke stuff. But it was so well written that's the difference between woke stuff and non-woke stuff is if it's quality writing.
Yeah, that was the thing is like Young Justice had there because there was a proto versus not like because I'll be honest, Greg says a lot of stuff on Twitter that I don't agree with now, but it doesn't matter. He's still a great writer. But like in Young Justice season 3, there's one character that is like literally every possible thing you could put into one person. It's a tokenized character. She's Black, Muslim, but also non-binary. But also gay, but also not. And it's like literally every agenda thing. And she's also the most important character.
That would be a great name for that character, The Agenda. Ooh. Hey, you got a box there. What's in the box? Cool.
Fragile.
It's from France.
Yeah. It's an award.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Major award. Why are you wearing a right-wing alt-right Nazi t-shirt? Oh, I thought it was the Punisher.
Terror in the trenches, baby. Terror in the trenches.
Mm.
Cooper, do you know Vaughn? Vaughn, do you know?
Yeah, I've been on his show.
Yeah. Okay.
How you doing?
Last week, I forgot to introduce people.
Oh, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys know each other. No.
I just assume everybody knows each other.
No, that's one of the things you'll learn.
Everybody knows Vaughn.
Not actually. I had one person invite me on the show very excited. He goes, yes, you created Fiendish, right? And I was like, no. Like, no. But it was still a great interview.
I would have said yes. I created it and gave it to Rini.
Yeah, I was like, I gave.
You might be prettier than Rini. Who knows?
I was like, I gave it. It was child labor. I was being used, and then she took. Yeah, that's what I'll say.
That's funny.
No,
that's funny.
There you go.
I'm looking.
Let me get a knife. I'm gonna cut.
I need another quote. I have one quote for my book, and I'm trying to get another just because the pacing of my video is a certain way. I just want one more quote.
I got no quotes.
Shit.
I got no quotes for mine.
Because I have a lot from fans, but which they obviously is the most important, right? You don't just want to be bunch of creators telling each other great. Fan feedback is the most important, but I'm wondering for a trailer if I should use something else.
Yeah, I got a lot riding on issue 2.
Me too. I'm afraid because there's so much momentum. I'm almost afraid issue 2. What if like it doesn't live up? And so far everyone who's read it likes it, but it's still like my editor described it to me best. He was like, you have to defend the title. And the first draft I showed him, he did not like. And then I go, he gives a lot of criticism. I go, okay, let me be honest. Am I defending the title? He goes, no. I go, do you think it needs a rewrite? He goes, I think that would be good. So I rewrote the script again. And he goes, I go, is it worthy that I defend the title? He goes, you defended the title. So that's how I would describe it. It's just because if you have your first book as well received, you have to defend it. You have to defend that title. You don't get to just do it.
Is that shipped yet?
Phenomenova, yes.
Yeah.
But it is available on my website. Do you mind if I share that in private chat?
Go ahead.
Yes, it's shipping out now. So on my website,
I didn't get mine.
Did you order it?
Mm-hmm.
Did you back it?
Yeah, I backed it.
Here.
Cooper was literally the last one to get my comic, so
That is bizarre. So yes, I just asked Vika and Marion if he didn't get his yet. So maybe some people are taking longer. Luckily, no one in the U.S. should get their. Like, I'm surprised. Everything should be in people's hands by now.
The only people who didn't get my comic are Canadians. You know, their services.
See, Canadians are starting to get it, so I'm concerned.
And I sent one comic to Brazil to Daniel, the colorist, and the autofill put United Kingdom. So it's going to take a month to go to England for them to realize that it's going to get sent back, and then I have to redo it, send it to Brazil. So I'm sorry, Daniel.
That's one of the things. Oh my God, this stuff is going to take money from me.
And you know what? Well, here we go. I was about to say, not one pint glass has been reported broken, and watch Cooper open up a box, and there's going to be a broken pint glass inside of it. You know.
I hope that. Yeah, I hope.
Well, if I could ever get in this thing, my God.
Who else can I get a quote from? I'm pissed because it's like I want quote. All right.
You want a quote? Want me to give you a quote?
You know what? If you want to give me a quote, up to you.
Cool. I'll think of something. I don't want to just.
Yeah, because I have a few. Well, because I already did a Rainy one and a Billy Tucci one last time, so now I have to. That's the problem. It's like because I came out the gate swinging, but I got to earn them too. No one's gonna give me a quote that I don't deserve.
I didn't even think to ask, but you know what? Also, there's heroic mails. If anybody wants to write a letter, send it to heroicmails@yahoo.com.
Heroic mails. Ooh.
I'll put letters in. I want to do a letters column. I want to make it like a Bronze Age comic. I want to have actual letters. And Coop's having my wife wrapped up that box. A little story about that box. I sent those boxes out, and they all came back because I put the wrong postage on that box. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I didn't want to, and they wouldn't like let me pay the difference. So I had to reprint all the stickers, and I'm like, I'm going to get different boxes. That means everything. So I just wrapped them up in wrapping paper and used the wrong boxes, everybody. Now that they're all out, one of them got caught. Somebody opened it up and saw it, and then I got charged because those boxes were flat shipping, $26, whatever you could fit in that box. So instead of $4 ground shipping, somebody's box cost me $26. But what do you want me to do? It's the horrors of shipping. But it looks like my wife did a good job wrapping them up. Poor Cooper needs a rest already. The Heroic Mails, is that the name of the Heroic MAILS Heroic Mails?
Yeah, she did.
Zakan, you're the Heroic Mail. If you're anybody who backed my book is a Heroic Mail, female, whatever. I'm all inclusive.
Peanuts too.
Yeah. They're also edible.
And bubble wrap. No, I don't think so. Been there, done that.
I think those peanuts are made out of starch, so they disintegrate in the water, you know.
It's styrofoam starch. Anyway.
Also, inside the wrapping paper in the box, there should be stickers. Don't throw away your stick. Nice, the pint glass didn't break.
No, it's good.
There you go.
Now I have to develop a drinking problem to use it.
There you go. Yeah, you should have two stickers. I forgot to put them in those boxes, so in between the box and the wrapping paper, there should be stickers.
Oh, Shadowpunk. Sorry, I was looking through stuff. Shadowpunk. What I mean by that? Oh, sorry. Oh, looks great.
Pat Broderick cover.
Yeah. Shadowpunk. What I mean by defend the title is so imagine you won a championship match, like Rocky wins a championship match. Now the next movie, he has someone going for the belt. He has to defend the title. He has to defend his championship title. Now I'm not saying it's champion, but the point I'm making is people liked my work. Now I have to put the next one out, which means now I have to. You
have to prove that you're not a one-trick pony.
That I'm not a one-trick pony. Yeah. So is the pressure off my shoulders? No. I was like,
no. If anything, there's more pressure.
Yeah.
there's more pressure now. People liked your first comic. You got to prove that you're just not, a flash in the pan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 1 sec.
Right? Did you get the cards? You should have the cards in the comic too. Oh, yeah, you got the cards.
Mm. Yeah.
Cool.
Game. So. Mall.
Yep.
I'm seeing a theme here. Boss Moxie. Yeah, there you go. And Patriarch. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
3 cards. I didn't hit the stretch goals for 3 cards. We didn't get the main bad guy, and we didn't get the third. We didn't get the third of the henchwomen, and then we didn't get Lucius Kane, the suit. So these will be available. I'm going to talk to Luke Stone. I'm going to redo my Fund My Comic page to update everything. Yep. Zach 10 says, don't get confused. Defending the title to mean the bad guys can't strike a heavy blow again. Yeah, but you know what he means. Like he can't just rush out a slop comic right now.
Yeah.
No.
People like the Phenomenova. People like the Rogue Tales. We gotta keep the quality. Plus, I don't want to make a bad comic. I don't want to spend all this money and
make it not. Yeah, I'm always concerned but it's like every time I read issue 2, I'm like, no, I like it, because every time I go, wait, but what if I don't like? And then I keep going, no, I do like, because I'm always like, well, what if it's not as good? It's scary, but I am ultimately proud of it.
Yeah. Did you get like friends and family who aren't into comics get your comic?
Yes.
What did they say?
I don't see anything else in there.
Cooper, can you in private or DMs just give me the name? I'm gonna make sure that your copy was sent out and that all is good. It should be.
Yeah, Force Monk.
I'll check. I'm sure I backed it. Let me check. I'm sure I backed it.
There were a few that got refunded that I tried reaching out.
Okay.
I have a story of return of Boss Moxie, but it's not on the priority list, And also, I have, like, going forward in my comic, I'm going to have a main story with the Patriarch, and I'm going to have a secondary story with another hero. And then if I hit a stretch goal, I want to do maybe a third story about a villain or stuff. So I would like to tell more about Dr. Robug, and I'd like to tell more about Boss Moxie. And oh man, I came up with such a great villain today. Oh man, I got excited. I messaged Brian Bow and I was telling him all about it. I'm like, I can't put him ahead in the schedule. But let's just say it's a perfect Batman villain. Looks like everybody's reading novels right now.
No, I'm now doing customer service.
Yeah. Did you have any?
I'm making sure I backed.
I'm sorry.
I'm making sure I backed. I remember backing, but
I've done that before. I forgot that I didn't back somebody, and I'm like, "Where's the comic?" And like, "You never backed." I'm like, that explains. Have you got any like beat up comics or anything like that, Vaughn? Anybody get?
I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna send an email out. Maybe I should send an email just saying, "Hey, making sure everyone got their copies." Blah blah blah, and never stops. I'm like, "Oh, okay, it's all done now," and it's like, well, maybe not.
So you, Vaughn, you were saying that you're almost done with the Chris Claremont run of the X-Men.
Yes.
So what issue is that?
Well, because I have a bunch of spin-offs. So I'm finishing off Simonson's X Factor. So my next issue is something like 62, I think, of X Factor. And then for Uncanny, last one I read was, I want to say 270. one.
Okay, I was just curious. You don't have to be exact. I was just curious.
Let's see. What was the last one I read? Was the
I
last one I
quit.
last one I read was 272. So I have 273 to 80.
I quit reading it at 204. I just rage quit.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, you never finished Claremont's run?
I've since monthly I quit it too, and then maybe 5 or 6 years later I bought the rest of the run on eBay.
Why'd you 204?
Because I just got so mad that the X-Men broke Magneto out of trial, and like we just want to be treated like everybody else, except when we actually get arrested and have to stand trial for our crimes. You know, they break into the world court, they take X-Men, they take Magneto, they harbor them. You know what I mean? We just want to be treated like everyone else, except we don't want to be held accountable for the X-Men are the perfect progressives. They don't want to be treated like everybody else. They want special preferential treatment. And I just couldn't stand that about the X-Men anymore. Is Dr. Robog autistic or special related when it comes to absolutely he is. He you know, it was funny because I thought people were gonna be like accuse me of like, oh, you're making a sympathetic villain. Well, first off, there's nothing sympathetic about Dr. Robog. If you could read between the lines, what he was doing was horrible, you know. But I and here I am spoiling a comic that Cooper didn't get a chance to read yet. But at the same time, like you could have, like I'm sure Dr. Octopus is autistic and had problems in his life, but sooner or later he chose to do bad things. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what Dr. Robug did. He got picked on. He was the class nerd. He got made fun of, and then you don't know it yet. Issue 2, I'm going to explore like where superpowers come from. But when he got his superpowers, he didn't become tall and handsome and charming. Jim Kelly, the patriarch, before he became the patriarch, he was skinny, torpy, kind of made fun of. Matter of fact, he married his wife before he got the powers, but his wife didn't like him for the longest time. You know, his wife was good looking, charming. He was shy, you know. But my point being is being shy and awkward doesn't give you license to become a villain. I was just, have you ever seen Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, Vaughn?
Sir, I was just looking through some of the backer notes, and someone wrote an obscene note, and I was like, "Who was this?" And it was my friend. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Okay.
Someone said, "I want the purple hood and the gray one. Also, I want my fruit cut in cubes and a hand job." And I was like, "Who wrote this?" And I was like, "Oh, it was my friend." Okay.
There you go. You can make money. You can make a phenomenal.
I'm good. I'm good. No thanks.
People aren't sending you free copies for guaranteed positive review. You know they're expecting an indie. Nobody. I'm trying to think. Vaughn, have you ever gotten free copies of comics from people?
Yeah, actually, digital, never physical, which I'm not expecting.
I don't.
I gave Mike Barron a free copy because he helped me, and I wanted to. And he was like, "We'll do a book exchange." So,
yeah, I never asked nor got free copies. I always paid for everything. I don't. You know, I know how expensive it is to make a comic. I don't want anything.
Quick update. Evidently, I didn't back Phenomenova. I know I went to back it. I must not have clicked.
That was the difference between profit and non-profit.
Yeah.
Well, it's in my. Do you have access to it in the private chat? Because you could order it if you're interested.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, I'll get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I had it open at one point, and I went to click buy. I don't know what happened. It must
Cooper, I've done the same thing. So many comics I thought I backed, and now I got to wait for the catch up.
I have a physical memory of backing it. That's the weird thing. I have an actual memory of backing it. So.
Well, if you have, put your email in, and I can confirm.
I've already checked my campaign and found my comic, and I've checked Indiegogo.
Oh, okay.
And Room, so. Unless you're on Kickstarter, but I can't check.
I was on Kickstarter.
You was on Kickstarter.
But would you have backed on Kickstarter?
Probably not. I if you were on Fund My Comic, that's where I would have backed.
All right. So yeah, I was. That's where I launched.
Yeah, that's where I would have backed.
What Geeks asked, are we going to get a flashback of the Skinny Patriarch? Yes. Issue number 3, I want to talk about his origin. I'm going to do the origin of the patriarch. I didn't want to start out with the origin because, like, first off, his origin is going to be like a little convoluted because nothing's ever simple, and I feel like do people care? Like, Vaughn went the different approach. He started with his character, got us to care about him, and got his origin. But I just wanted to come out swinging and then later tell you the origin. People are different attempts at storytelling.
All right, you're the big name guy, right?
Me?
Yeah.
My name, first and last name's got 7 letters.
Well, I'm saying, you have a thing about.
Okay, I misunderstood. Okay, yeah,
right.
I didn't know what you were talking about. Yeah, I'm big
Okay.
with superhero names. Like,
all right, I've got a villain, and he absorbs powers, and if you see him using somebody's powers, that means they're dead. Okay.
Ooh, that's cool.
And his name is Osmosis. What do you think?
If his name is Osmosis,
It's not Osmosis. It's Osmosis.
Yeah, it fits. It's funny because as soon as you said he uses their powers, but they're dead, first immediately Headhunter popped into my mind.
That's a cool name.
Cuts your head off and he like wears them on a belt and he has your powers.
Well, he actually keeps them in like his vials, in this apparatus that he injects into himself, and so he can use them only a certain amount of time until they run out. But
that's
he keeps
cool.
them like in these vials on.
That's really cool. Hey, sorry guys, I do got a jet. I want to get.
I'm gonna be going soon too. Thanks a lot for showing up.
Of course, see you.
Phenomenova was a good comic, man.
Thank you.
It's
later, dude.
In my opinion, it's one of the best comics to come out last year or this year.
Thank you. High praise. Appreciate it. Yours is great.
I guess I'm gonna have to back the damn thing.
Yeah, well, you can, or you can just order it. Yeah,
I wanted to. I wanted to. I know
you got to back it. Vaughn needs a lot of food. I've seen him eat.
Yeah, I'm serious.
So yeah, I like it. The name fits. The name means something, and the name describes the powers. That's the way it works in my mind. Now, what is his costume going to look like?
Most of my guys don't really have costumes, so he wears he kind of wears like the fedora, the big coat, and that kind of number. He's not as unassuming looking, but he's scary as hell.
Oh, he reminds me. That makes me think of Sylar from Heroes.
That's who I'm based. It's kind of based on, yeah. But I mean, it's insidious because the only way he can like take their powers is if they're dead, and so if you see him using a power, then that means that they're not dead. Osmosis, the Great and Terrible. That's cool.
You got to introduce you don't have to do anything. I'm just getting excited for the character, but I was thinking like you have a character with a signature looking ray.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he has this blue Kirby Crackle ray, and then the next issue you see Osmosis show up with a blue Kirby Crackle ray, and you're like, oh man, I liked Blue Ray guy.
Yeah. Well, that happens more than once in this.
There you go.
The series,
So I take it your book is gonna have some lethality in it.
Oh, it's gonna have a lot of lethality in it. Yeah. The first guy they faced.
It's a multiverse. You could just bring him back the next issue.
Yeah. Well, no, probably not.
Yeah, that is not going to happen in my comic. I'm telling you right now, I already have a death planned.
Oh, a death. Oh no. Well, I have a lot of deaths in mind. Let's just say that.
Yeah. But I'm going to go and eat my dinner now.
All right, man.
I'm so glad that you got your comic. And I'm so glad that pint glass didn't break. The very first pint glass that I sent went to Winnipeg, and it was before I even launched the campaign. Somebody bought it, and it got there. Then the second pint glass went to New Jersey, and it broke.
Well, usually Canada is like worse than New Jersey.
Right.
Yeah.
So I learned how to ship them a little bit better, and I read someplace that peanuts work the best as far as protecting stuff. That's why I got peanuts. I got a huge, like 7 foot tall bag of peanuts in my garage.
Oh,
already well stacked for the second campaign. We don't resurrect here. We just get their copy from another. Yeah, it's so lame. It's so lame. That is,
well,
I'm sure there's stories that could use a multiverse to, and if that's the point of the comic, that that's a different thing. But it's just like the patriarch dies for shock value, then the next issue he shows up from another dimension. That is just so lame and cheap.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like Jawbreakers Forever?
I have so many problems with that comic, and I kept my mouth shut, but it's just not good. It's bad storytelling, which to me is the ultimate sin.
Yeah,
as I was reading it, I didn't know who the characters were. That is bad.
That's very bad. Yeah.
And before I shoot my mouth off, I got 45 people watching. Was anybody confused? Did my comic, was it disjointed? Did you not know who the characters were?
Nope. You had a very strong narrative. Very strong narrative thread.
But Vaughn's comic, Phenomenova, I knew who the characters were. I knew, the storytelling made sense. There was nothing jarring.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of non-comic book people read my comic.
Yeah.
So to tell me, but I read Jawbreakers Forever, and I'm just like, dude, you bragged that you're OCD. Like, he bragged that he was OCD, and you talked about, it's like, nobody cares about your comic reads like it came out on time. Well, dude, my comic, it was 3 weeks late. My comic came out on time, but it makes sense. It's not disjointed, and I think it's a quality comic. Like Jawbreakers Forever was 3 years late, and it made no sense whatsoever.
The one before that was almost 3 years late, and it was bad. So I didn't bother with Forever.
Yeah,
even at that cheap price, it just wasn't worth it to me.
But I will say, Rock and Roll Ninja was awesome. I'm not just it was the best thing Zach ever put out. But then it was written by Chuck Dixon, so there you go.
Yeah, and according to Matt, besides coming up with the premise. Yeah, between him and Zach, Zach really had almost nothing to do with that project. So
I tell you this much: I come up with a premise for a comic book every day.
Oh, me too. Yeah,
but like premises are easy. Premises are easy.
Yeah.
But I just
ask me about Green Ghost sometime.
Oh, is that one of your characters, the Green Ghost?
Yeah. It's actually a public domain character.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's why. Okay.
Yeah. I was going to do it for if we ever did Out of Obscurity again, but he kind of grew out of that. So he's actually part of my universe now. So.
What do you guys, again, we got a bunch of people watching. What do you guys think about public domain characters? I got a
great resource. Great resource.
Yeah, my friend Jerry, he's making comics with a public domain. I don't want to do it.
No.
Because it's other people's toys. You know what I mean?
But the thing about it is it's almost like repurposing a toy and making it your own.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. I just said I don't want to do it. Just like I also don't want to do multiverse stories. You know what I mean? It's not bad. If you do it, that's great. I just don't want to do it because I want. Because that means I got to accept, because I'm a freak when it comes to continuity. Like if I took the Green Ghost, that means all of his comics have to exist and all of his stories have to exist and all this content. And then I didn't read them all, so I'm going to contradict myself. What if Atlantis is over here and I put Atlantis over here? What if Atlantis got destroyed? What if they?
Yeah, but the thing about it is, John, is this is dead. This character is dead. Okay, nobody's using it.
Right.
Nobody. And
I know.
Well, I mean, it's like necromancy in a way. It's not. You're not using somebody else's toy. You're resurrecting something that was dead.
Yeah. I mean,
giving it new life.
And everybody, when they do public domain, they all do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They got trapped in another dimension and then they come back in the modern world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Actually, I do have a Green Ghost store that does that.
So Captain Nemo and Sherlock Holmes are not going to have coffee with the patriarch. No. Sherlock Holmes No.
No.
Captain Nemo is a fictional character, but Prince Drakkar in my world is a real person.
Ah.
And if you know, Prince Drakkar is Captain Nemo's real name.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if you read The Mysterious Island, it tells you the origin of Captain Nemo.
Yeah.
He was an Indian prince named Prince Drakkar. So there is a place in the world of heroic tales called Prince Drakkar Island that, if I make it around long enough, we may or may not visit.
Did you know that Robert may have existed?
What may have existed?
Robert, Master of the World. He might have existed.
Who is this? I don't know this character. Is this a character?
It's from the same guy. Thousand Leagues Under the Sea guy. He did another one where a guy was like a kind of a Captain Nemo of the air. He had an airship.
Oh wow, I got to look that up.
Yeah,
he's based on a real person.
Well, I didn't think so until I was following the alien that crash landed in Aurora, Texas. That there was like a grave of him. And it turns out around that time, there were like multiple stories of airships. Like thousands of people saw airships in the air. And that may have been where he got the idea for Robert. So,
okay. I got to look him up. I love Jules. I read a lot of Jules Verne, but what's the name of that book with that character?
Well, there's a couple of them. Robert, the Master of the World, or something like that.
Oh, cool.
And
I'm not going to look him up on my phone right now, but I just, if anybody knows Doc Blaylock, just reach out, make sure everything's okay. I can't help it go to bad places when people don't show up.
Yeah,
he's a bit more edgy than Nemo. I was talking about this, and I'll probably talk about it again tomorrow because Mike Barron will be on my channel tomorrow at 7.
Robert the Conqueror.
Robert,
the name of Robert the Conqueror. Yeah.
Could you DM me this so I remember to look it up after dinner?
And the other novel was Master of the World, so I got it. I got it backwards there. Yeah, I will.
Thank you.
I'll DM it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go get some food. Go get some food.
You're
looking peaked, man, young man.
I know. I'm all excited because I found
You're wasting away. You're wasting away.
I lost 4 pounds since my last doctor's visit.
All right, good for you. Go for me.
I'll say that Nemo, there hasn't. I always forget about the James Mason version. That's like the closest, but like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, that wasn't Nemo. No, Nemo wasn't religious. Matter of fact, he was like anti anything like that. I think that's why I like him so much. He's the ultimate individualist. He doesn't believe in nations. He doesn't believe in, he doesn't believe in organized groups. He's just, but at the same time, he's tyrannical in that you see his ship. He kidnaps you, takes away your liberty. He's a flawed character. And if you read The Mysterious Island, I think he regrets his life and tries to atone in a small way.
Right.
Yeah. Which I like. And it's funny because it's like a big roach crushing book. And then all of a sudden he's just in like the last 3 chapters. You're like, wait a minute, where would this guy come from? But yeah, I'm babbling now, so I'm going to get going. I have to rename this because it's not a conversation with Doc Blaylock. It's
no, evidently not.
Free. But I'm glad you got your stuff, and I'm eager to hear what you have to say about it. If you didn't get stickers, say something. I'll send you some stickers.
All right, I have to look through the peanuts. So that's a lot of peanuts.
Well, it's probably between the box and the paper because I forgot to put them in the boxes.
Okay, all right, we'll do.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.